Okay, good morning, committee. It's Friday morning, April 28th, and we have Gabe Jarvis with us this morning. Gabe, it just a short conversation. We had Adam Laser, I believe is his name, from Tree Source Water, and we, we heard all about, what he does with it, and he even sent us some the cans of different flavored water, and but we haven't heard anything from anybody that's been collecting their RO water and selling it to them, and we understand that you are capturing the water from your RO and selling it to them, and wondering if you could give us a little history on how it, what you had to do that, and just in general how it's working out for you and your maple operation, so that it's brand new. This is brand new to us, and so we need get our feet on the ground and hear from a producer of this water how it's all working out for you.
Sure. To just give a quick background of our operation, it's been in the family for quite a while. My son will be the fourth generation, and obviously in the last 8 to 10 years, the technology has really come along with reverse osmosis, other ways to cut down on efficiency to produce your syrup. So a side effect of that, in a way, is that we get a lot of water that we're doing the opposite of what most people do with the reverse osmosis, as you must know. We're throwing away the filtered water. And as of this point, me and Adam are just in the talking phase, so I haven't actually sold him any water, but we are capturing the water. To me, it's a no-brainer if we can work it out. This water would normally go down the drain for me, so especially this time of the year, I got extra sap tank storage that's not being utilized. We had to shift it around a little bit at the end of the year because we were still collecting some sap, but I always have some tanks that are dedicated to solely to just the water. And I was able to fill up quite a bit of water, and hopefully this relationship will come forth a little bit, especially with the inflation of everything and the lower syrup costs and just the whole agriculture and the business. You need to try to get other avenues of sources of income to keep your business going. So really, I'm already running the RO machines. The water's already there. So at this point, I'm just capturing it. I did have to go through the organic process, which I already am for the sap, to get it permeate approved onto the organic status. But as far as the sales end of it, we have not gotten that far yet. It's just in the talks. I have about approximately 60 to 70,000 gallons of water permeate stored right now through the summer.
How many?
About between 65 and 70,000 gallons.
Oh goodness. And how do you store that, Gabe?
So right now I have 2 stainless steel sap silos. They're enclosed, so each one of those holds 20,000, and then I have a couple other tanks they're all inside that are being utilized, stainless steel. One of them is concrete tanks with a food grade liner sprayed on it that I had somebody hired to do.
And when we were talking with Adam, he's thinking about moving the I think he said the canning or bottling stuff to Middlebury.
Yes.
And so of course now it's down in I believe he said Massachusetts, and he'd like to relocate that closer to the water. and so you haven't sold any yet then?
No, I have not. But I mean, me and Adam have been talking on and off for the last probably 6 years since he started his business. And at one point, we did have a contract, basically while he was trying to build a business, saying that I would sell it to him if it came to be. But we haven't got that far. We did talk, and that's why I stored the water and moved along with my organic process, getting it certified with the hopes that we can start a relationship with it.
Yeah. Well, it has to be organic.
That was Adam's request. Yes.
Well, it would be. I should think it would be anyways. It must be pretty darn pure.
Well, yeah, as with a lot of things, maple syrup is organic, but you still got to do all the paperwork into it and get approved.
Yeah. Did he make any commitment on what he would pay for the water or the transportation of it or any of that?
As the one talk we had, we've exchanged a few emails, but nothing in no contracts at this point. The previous contract we did have was 10 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
And then any other additional costs that I may have is something that we could talk about. So I believe right now it's probably at 10 cents a gallon, but we have no contract at this point.
Yeah, that's what he relayed to us, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Gabe, are you eventually going to run out of room? I mean, you can store it it doesn't go bad, right? You don't have any issues with it, but it sounds like you're going to have to keep building storage tank after storage tank unless you can sell it to somebody.
Well, the permeate comes from sap, and the trees have stopped producing as of this time of the year.
Yeah.
So what I have now is what we have, and until if I do early fall tapping, which we normally don't do, so probably until next year, February or so, we wouldn't have any new permeate. As far as it going bad, that's out of my realm, to be honest. I can store water. I mean, just like you, if you store water, I'm sure it has organic matter that's going to grow into it. So I'm sure on his end of it, he must have to pasteurize it, or he has asked that I run it through my reverse osmosis again. But as far as the health of drinking water that has been stored, I'm sure is something he can tell you all about. And I don't know, on the farming end, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we, as I said maybe earlier, we got this note from a guy that said he was in the process of doing sap water drinks, and we had a little bit of time, so we invited him in, and it was really, I think the committee as well as myself felt that it was really a great way to take care of this RO water and get a little money for it, and but we didn't know, how much the Maple guys would have to spend to be able to store this stuff and make money on it, because a lot of times the guy at the front end doesn't always make a whole lot of money, whether it's milking cows or making syrup.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because that's very, very true. Fortunately, I've been building this for many years with help from family, and I've got some storage tanks. Try to always get extra for the sap, but yes, it is a huge expense to install all these tanks and whatnot on our end, and only get a small portion of the profits, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think we asked either, because none of our business, but I don't know how much he sells his, Brian, you got one of the cans?
Yeah, I've got one of the cans right here. They come just like this. They're really well packaged.
Hold it to this, Brian. You can see it better, I think. Or maybe-
Sure, yeah, I can see it. I've looked his products up. I've never actually tried them. I know he sells
Yeah,
them
they're
in a
great.
bottle also.
Yeah. Brian, the guy just showed you the can, he drank most of the case of it.
Well, that's good. What
Friendlier
flavor did you
now.
like?
He's our official taster.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
Yeah, any other questions to ask of Gabe?
Oh, it's great.
Amazing.
Yeah. Anything for us, Gabe? Did you have a decent year this year or?
Well, it was a little bit of a struggle. The year went well. The trees just didn't cooperate this year. They didn't produce a lot. There was, a little bit, probably about 4 or 5 degrees colder most days than we needed it to be. We still made close to 3/4 of a crop, but unfortunately the price also dropped on the the wholesale end of it. And so that hurt us also. But overall, everybody was healthy and we had a good year, and we should still pay our bills just fine, I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who was telling us, but somebody was in testifying. They said that the Canadians basically set the price for all of us, and they must have had a down year as well, because usually it's colder there than it is here. But yet the price still went down.
Yeah, and we were warned at the beginning of the season from the major syrup buyers that they really filled their warehouses last year, combination of Canadian syrup, and we had a really bumper year around the States. And so they were already setting us up for a lower price because they had already filled up there. Plus the exchange rate's even lower this year than last year. So it is true. Canada sets the price, and then we get tiered down from that with the exchange rates, and it definitely hurts us.
Yeah, they'll milk every dime they can out of you, that's for sure, the buyers.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you giving us a little time this morning, and if ever you think of anything where we can be of help, certainly get hold of us. Where are you located?
Eastburg.
I'm located in Bakersfield, Enosburg area, up near the Canadian border.
Yeah, so you're right up. I'm from Troy, so you're just west of me a little bit. But we work with Randy and Bob all the time. So, but if you ever need to talk with us, feel free to call.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thanks again, and have a good day.
Thanks for
You
taking.
too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Boy, it's amazing. Sure, for so many years, nobody else thought of this,
Yeah, I know.
Now, the osmosis wasn't always part of it. I understand that, but even then,
I bet you our Owen has gone on for 10, 15
Oh,
years.
God, at least that long.
Yeah.
nobody ever thought about, hey, we should see.
Well,
Except for some people thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not good thinking. Because the runoff, could really screw the environment up.
There is a piece of this though, that if you're having to store everything in stainless steel tanks and you're collecting and doing all of that stuff, 10 cents on 60,000 gallons that he's producing is only $6,000 a year.
Oh, yeah.
So it
isn't for free.
It isn't for free. So, that's.
Yeah.
The
stainless steel is over the moon expensive.
I know my granddaughter and her husband, they stoned up where the RO water goes out.
Yeah.
They stoned up and built a sediment farm. Because the environmental people, they're down there where they get real particular. And they did that hoping that, it would be okay and they haven't had any trouble yet, but it still costs quite a bit. It would have been better to put that money into tanks and top the water and got rid of it that way. Then, but, it's all good water. Yeah, morning, Ed.
Morning.
Do you do any maple guys?
A few, not many.
No.
I wanted to figure out what tree water was.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
so
we do trees. So I wanted to know.
it's really, to hear his story. I mean, he stumbled onto it
Yeah.
and had enough foresight and ability and knowledge to figure out how to capture it and make it into should have asked him what he gets for a can of,
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that in his presentation. Yeah,
well, he did tell us.
yeah, I think it was $1.99 or something, maybe it's $2.99. One of those, one of those prices.
For each can,
How much?
$2.99.
Well, I'll check my notes.
About
Same as soda.
cost to do soda.
How many of those in a gallon? How many ounces?
Is that 12 ounces?
10. I don't think it'd be a 10, like 8, 12 ounces.
And how many ounces in a gallon?
No.
128?
128?
I think it's 400.
Verse 32?
It's like my favorite person. I asked her how many hundreds it was in $200 million. Just checking to see if you could count. She didn't know what the hell to say on that.
Well, we hope they both make some money.
128. It's 128 US fluid ounces in a gallon.
Oh, in a gallon.
And that's at what, 8?
Walking in circle.
That's 12.
That's
So,
I'd
So
say
round it up
that's
to
about
$3.
10,
Right.
10 and 2/3 actually. What are you doing with that calculator? Use your freaking hand.
I typed it in dollars. So what did you say, 290?
$2.99, round it up to $3.
Yeah.
Because he's got all the expense of canning it, distributing it.
No, I get all of that, but you just did not hear. So.
So with 10 cans, he gets $29.30, and for a gallon, he's got 10 cents into that raw product. So the rest, trucking and water, processing and
Cans, yeah.
And, so he, hopefully does okay. Doesn't he use that for beer too? And, there was quite a
Right,
list
he
of
did say
things.
something else, didn't he, that he made with it, maybe here.
But it's, let's see, if he was gonna move that to Vermont, it would be,
Wasn't he
Yeah.
talking about moving to Middlebury?
Middlebury.
He's building a place in
Yeah.
Middlebury.
No, he's not building it, he's gonna use Aquabay's
part of,
existing, he's gonna lease from them, right?
That's right.
That'll cut down on the trucking costs.
yeah, and that would improve employment, for people. And I would expect he has to pay pretty good to get help, so. But Gabe didn't express how much money he got into putting the storage.
Look what you say, they don't give that stuff away.
But
Oh,
in-
no, they don't. That's expensive.
See, my granddad, they got concrete tanks that when they built the sugar house,
Yeah.
they built concrete tanks and then they had them all lined with this food grade spray
Yeah,
or,
that's what Gabe was talking about. He's got
And-
one of those.
and, so the raw sap comes down out of one, goes through the RO, and then goes back up to the empty. And then that one, they draw off from when they boil. And they don't have any extra. They'd have to put a tank in. And he does have a stainless tank that he hauls his sap in, because he said plastic, it could, it builds up. Raw sap in a plastic tank builds up some stuff in there, and it's hard to clean it. You have to do that. He said about every third load you bring in. And the stainless steel one, he's got this rig like you wash a bulk tank with.
Yeah.
You just set it on the cover and hook up your water, turn it on, it washes the stainless steel without having to even crawl down in there. But I didn't ask him how much he had to pay for that big tank. Anyways, so anyways, well, that was good. At least we got to hear from Gabe and is there anything else that your bill up today or?
No, it's not even on notice. I don't know what happened down the hall.
Well,
I hope there's no problem. I can't imagine what could be in there.
finance,
Yeah, maybe they just didn't get to it.
there's one.
That seems like a priority.
And so, Tuesday, of course, we go on the floor, we're gonna get here, but if we don't really have anything scheduled, I don't know if any of you have anything that you think we ought to tinker with or get people in to talk with them. But so Tuesday and Wednesday, there isn't much, but Thursday, we got the person coming from the research service.
Mhm.
And then Friday, we got Shane Rogers coming. So Thursday, it won't, we could. We're gonna start on the floor at 10:30, so.
10:30?
It's 10.
Or 10.
Yeah.
So that's why we scheduled those days just at 9, so you wouldn't have to, plan on anything too early.
Gotta figure out how to say that guy's name.
He's looking for projects for the interns. So if you come up with something you want them to research in the fall, they're gonna be starting in the fall
That
working on it
from UVM.
from UVM. And so they have
Okay.
these students who, if you want something about dairy or tree water, they can do research.
And the other issue was talking with Dave from the House Committee. And remember the municipal water and the runoff and some farmers are paying twice from Freetown.
Yep.
He, they kind of dug in his crew on making that, like we had it this year, they weren't gonna be able to charge them.
Right.
he said they wanna make that permanent. And, the, pay, and, that, they might still put some kind of a report back on the farmers and on that, so he thought it might have to go to 20 years, but, he's gonna work with those people to see if he can get that done.
So that was a House bill, right? So they would come back to us with an amendment maybe?
Yeah, and I told him, I know, if you get it fixed that well, we'll just agree to concur. And, anybody wants a committee or conference, it'll have to be somebody other than our committee. And, so we're good there, I guess. But they hadn't heard anything from the tree lot yet, so.
It's just, did you talk to Kausai?
Yeah, that, now, which part,
About any of the budgets?
oh, I told Dave that, yeah, we had what we had in there in budgeting it, he ought to get some word to appropriations to encourage them to accept that.
Well, they ought to get, they have 5 million and we have 2.3. They might wanna advocate for some of that, don't you think?
Well, I told him that somebody was a little lax on putting enough money in to cover the ag stuff. And I said the 5 million for the governor was all fine and good, but you should have put that other 6.9 in to cover the organic guys. Place. I don't know how that got by us, but
Well, it's the reason we're at 15. It's the reason we're attended on at 15.
I wasn't mean to him, I was to Brenda.
I thought you guys were all warm and fuzzy with each other.
I wish I could have.
It was quite good.
Where was I?
Right in appropriations.
Oh.
Well, she said,
When we voted that, she was crying. She was on the. Of what people in the.
are we offline?
Yeah.
Are we done?
Unless there's something else that anyone has, yeah, we can wrap it up.
Thank you.
And, yeah, so I'll adjourn the meeting.